Hey, this is Rachel Cunningham, and you're listening to Joyful Love, episode 90. If you're ready to bring joy and connection back to your marriage, stick around. Each week, I give you the tools to up-level your thinking, open your heart, and bring joy and fun back to your relationship. Because it's not enough just to stay married. We want to love being married. Today, we're going to piggyback off of last week's episode, all about why and how you should bring fun back into your life. But today, I'm going to give you some specific ideas to start generating your imagination on how you can bring fun back into your life together as a couple. And even as a family, you can steal these ideas to do with your kids as well. I've gotten several emails in the past few years as I've been a marriage coach on how, asking me, do you have any specific dating ideas? And I've always thought, well, yes, I do for myself, but that doesn't mean that it's going to resonate with you and your partner. And so, but I would often send my suggestions anyway, and just say, okay, here's my ideas, take them and run with them. So let me backtrack a little bit. About a year ago, I was looking on my bookshelf to find something, and this little book popped up that Cris and I bought the very first, I would say, month that we started dating. And so we bought it way back in 1996. So, gosh, that's a long time ago. But for some reason, we decided to keep this book. I'm not super nostalgic. I don't keep a ton of things that I don't use, but this is something that I decided to never throw away at one point in my life. And, probably every time I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, and it brings up so many, positive, good memories. It's worth keeping. So if I was going to Marie Kondo all my shit, this would be something that I would say, this gives me joy every time I see it, even if it's every once in a blue moon. So I keep this little black book. I don't think I've said the name of it yet. So the book is called The Little Black Book of Dating Ideas. And the first author on here, there's a ton of authors on here, but the first author is Christine Creamer. And I don't know who she is. I don't know if she's ever done anything else, but this little black book of dating ideas got me and Cris through a year of dating and beyond. So, and here we are 26 years later. So I'm going to read some ideas out of this book, but I want to start with saying this. Back when Cris and I first started dating, we did not drink any alcohol. And the reason I'm bringing up alcohol is I currently am at the exact 2-year anniversary of not drinking a drop of alcohol. 2 years ago, I realized my wine intake was getting out of control, and it was just really, really hard to keep it in moderation. And I just kept going to, drinking red wine so much that I knew I was doing it to numb my emotions. I knew I was doing it to de-stress and not really deal with all the things that were inside of me, right? It was a great way to just go, oh, I don't want to think about these things anymore. I'm just going to have a little glass of wine and treat myself. But then that glass of wine turned into another glass and another glass. And so I finally, 2 years ago, decided I'm not going to keep trying to do the moderation game. I'm just going to be done. And it was the best decision I've ever made. So to tie that into dating currently, I knew how to date my husband 27 years ago when we first started dating. I knew, although actually, that's questionable. I probably didn't know how to date him at the age of 19. But I knew that I could, right? I knew that I could go and relate with him and laugh with him and have fun with him. But when I started drinking alcohol and when I started to depend on it on dates in order to relax, in order to let go of my stresses and my worries about my kids and my worries about all the other things in life, when I decided to give it up 2 years ago, one of my biggest worries was that I wouldn't know how to date my husband anymore, and that our date nights would not be as fun, and that I would not be able to relax and enjoy my evening with Cris. And here's the thing, I was right. I was right. There's something about alcohol that calms us down, that relaxes us, that helps us to just kind of go with the flow a little bit more. And so I had to retrain my brain how to genuinely relax and drop the worries of the day and to be able to have fun and enjoy my husband's company again. But that's part of the beauty of giving up alcohol, right? Because all these things that you're just kind of buffering away, they rise up and they're like, oh, here, you have to deal with this now, instead of numbing it away with some alcohol. So I had to deal with it. Like 2 years ago, when I was going out with my husband again and having date nights, I noticed, oh my gosh, a glass of wine would help me to just chill the F out and really focus on him a little bit more. But I had made that commitment to myself. Nope, I'm done buffering with alcohol. So I had to retrain myself. Okay, I get to learn how to have fun. I get to learn how to have a conversation with him again, even at nighttime after I've had some exhausting stuff going on during the day, right? But I will say it did not take me long. I would say about 6 months of really intentionally, learning and growing and saying, okay, this is an area of growth for me again. After about 6 months, I wasn't craving the alcohol during our dates anymore. I wasn't, and I actually started like enjoying my dates more, right? Because after that second glass of wine, there's a little short window of enjoying someone's company when you're drinking. And for me, that's about after one glass of wine. After the second glass, or maybe an hour after the first glass even, I start to just get sleepy and I start to want to go home and just check out and go to sleep. So it's even like when you use wine to, as a social lubricator to just chill out and relax and have better communications, it's such a short window that I realized it's not worth it. But now when I go out with Cris, because I'm very aware of that. After, the first 30 minutes, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad that I'm not drinking anymore. I'm so glad that I have the energy to hang out with him and I'm not just so exhausted, right? And then there were times too when I would go out with Cris, and after a couple glasses of wine, I would, all my emotions would bubble up in these ways. Like if I had something I was really carrying or heavy with, all my emotions would end up coming up and I would end up just crying on our dates. So it was like either I was too tired or I was, not really dealing with my emotions outside of our dates. So they would all bubble up and come out on our dates. And our dates just weren't that much fun whenever alcohol, for me personally, was involved, even though there was that short window of time that my brain wanted to keep going back to and saying, yeah, it was fun. If I take a real honest look at it, it was not fun. So all of that to say, I am so glad, I am so thankful that I was able to let go of the alcohol, and the wine is not a part of my life anymore. I do love a good glass of kombucha. I do love a good glass of sparkling water and some good bubblies like that. And I like having that good drink in my hand, whether it's hot tea or a good bubbly of another kind. But alcohol is not involved, so I don't have that hang up to hinder us in our amazing dates anymore. So all of that to say, let's dive in and share some of these exciting ideas from the 28-year-old book of dating ideas that is tattered and crispy, and you can tell coffee has been spilt on it several times. We highlighted several of the things in here for ourselves 27 years ago, and we ended up doing a lot of them. So I'm going to read you some of my favorites, and I'm going to read you maybe 20 or 30 ideas. And I want you to just kind of let it spark your ideas, let it spark your interest, even if none of them resonate specifically with you. Just start to notice just how simple date nights can be, or elaborate. Let your imagination go wild and just pick one or pick something to do this week with your honey. Okay, let's go. Rapid fire here. First, go to the airport to do some people watching. Try to imagine where people are going. Watch the planes land and take off. Dream and talk about the places you'd like to go someday. Now, this was 26 years ago, before 9/11 happened and before security was so tight. There are sometimes really good places on the outside of the airports that you can visit now. And I would encourage you, like, find a big field. Can you go and have a picnic and watch the airplanes go by? We used to love to go and just dream and talk about, where people were going or where we would go someday. You can still do that as an older adult with kids, right? Kids might even enjoy this as well. Also, like, imagine yourself, like, if some of these things are really hard to do right now because you have little kids, think about the ones that you can do with your kids. This is a great idea for family fun as well. Okay, next, play any sport together, like tennis or one-on-one basketball. Afterwards, make some fruit smoothies to help cool down. Build an enormous banana split for two. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. It's been forever since I've had a banana split. Next, take a ferry, river, or paddle boat ride together. I remember doing this with Chris when I was just like a little baby. I was like 19 when I was dating him. And we took a paddle boat ride at the John James Audubon State Park in Kentucky. It was so much fun. Idle the day away at an outdoor cafe or do some serious people watching. Spend the evening telling each other stories that have never happened to you, but you wish they had. They can be as self-gratifying as possible. Go for a drive in the countryside or into the city. Throw out the map and just explore the back roads. I think there's nothing better than a good country drive. That is such a good date. Next, on a beautiful day, lie on your backs and just watch the cloud formations roll by. Pick out shapes of animals and people and scenes. Read chapters of a favorite book out loud. Take turns. Attend a free concert. Many parks offer weekly concerts under the stars with free admission. If you ever come to Nashville, Tennessee, we have so many free concerts in the city. So that could be another one. Come to Nashville, Tennessee and go to all the free concerts. Next, get cultured. Visit an art museum. Saddle up and go horseback riding. It's been a while since I've done that. The sky's the limit. Visit a planetarium. Go on a nature walk. Do some bird watching. Learn to dance. Learn the latest hip hop steps, line dances, or even how to ballroom dance. Spend the entire afternoon searching for the best elevator ride in your town. Try malls, hotels, and high-rise buildings. I love how this book, as I'm reading back, I love how it feels like it's for young people. And, young people with no money, young people who don't want to, spend money and like just go have fun doing whatever. But I think there's so much we can learn from that, right? There's so much we can learn from just picking any random thing and saying, let's go have fun together. Let's go do whatever. And just have fun enjoying each other's company, doing anything. It doesn't have to be a fancy meal. It doesn't have to be a fancy time out or expensive even, right? And, I think sometimes we can forget that as married people who just want to go have a fancy night out. Like, what if we also welcomed in, although I love a good dinner, don't get me wrong, but what if we also just welcomed in the lighthearted things as well that are just so simple? Listen to old music albums together. Guess the songs by playing only a few notes. Reminisce about past favorite songs and memories associated with them. Watch the sunset. Try to predict the next day's weather by looking at the colors in the sky. Go inline skating or roller skating. Cris and I started doing this last fall when our oldest moved out. We were like, okay, what do we do? Our kids are growing up. They're getting older. What do we do? And so we started going skating together. And it was so much fun. And we had to take a break because I ended up hurting my back. But I really want to go back because there's so much you just feel free when you're skating, right? Whether it's on a skateboard or inline skating or roller skating, it's so much fun. So I highly recommend that one. And you get to meet so many really cool people at a skating rink. There's all kinds of people there, I realize, just like people who are elderly and never stopped skating a day in their life. And then really young people who are just having a blast. It's such a great place to go people watch. Okay, next, I love this one. Take an architectural tour of your city or town and see who can spot the oldest building by finding and looking at the cornerstones. Rendezvous midday on the rooftop of the tallest building in your city. I love that idea. You could even like order lunch out and go to the top of the building. It's a great idea. Sing and dance in the rain, splash in the puddles after a storm. See, these are the kind of things. This one reminds me of the Gottmans, who told a story one time about a couple who was really struggling, and they gave them the assignment to go play in the mud and sling mud at each other. And, there's a reason behind that kind of thing. It gets you in touch with your lighthearted self. It gets you in touch with like just being free and open and having fun together again. So many times as adults who, are just trying to survive, we forget that a big part of us needs to feel childlike and fun and free again. So I love these simple ones that are just like, oh, it's raining outside. Let's make a date to go sing and dance in the rain. I love that one. Okay, this is the last one I'll read today. Eat Sunday brunch at an expensive hotel. I hope that sparked some ideas for you. I hope it sparked some, even just freedom in you that, oh, I could just choose anything and we could go have fun with it, right? Sometimes we get so stuck in our day-to-day that we don't think anything would be fun. And I encourage you to just pick one. Don't even judge it. And then challenge yourself to be present enough with your partner and challenge both of yourselves to let go of the worry and the stress just for 2 hours and simply have fun together. And if you're looking for a more modern book that might feel a little more grown up, I do encourage you to go to theadventurechallenge.com. They have several books there that are scratch off, and it's like a surprise. It's like you scratch it off and then you have to do it. I've had several clients try those. They have one just for couples. They have one that's for family. They have one that's for travel, which could be really fun if you want to kind of bring back some travel desires that one or both of you have had. They also have one in the bedroom if you wanted to spice up your sex life a little bit. So that's what I have for you guys today. I just wanted to spark your interest in creating some fun and actually implementing this idea that I was talking about last week of having fun together. So give that a try. And if you're in the place where you're just like, I don't even know how to communicate with my partner, they would roll their eyes at me, or I'm rolling my eyes at this, and you're feeling so disconnected that you don't even know how to bridge that gap to get to this place, I'm going to be bold here and say you have got to make a call right now to get some help. Don't wait any longer. If you're at that place where you can't even begin to imagine having fun with your partner, you need some help getting there. It is not hopeless. I encourage you to book a free consultation call with me at rachelcunningham.com/work-with-me. And we're going to help you heal your relationship with yourself first and then with your partner. All right, I'll talk to you next week. Thanks for listening to Joyful Love. If you'd like to know more about my work, come visit me at rachelcunningham.com. That's Rachel spelled with an AEL, Cunningham.com.